see there, that is the start list, the 8 finalists, beginning with Nicolucci and finishing with Arta Davtian. Davtian brothers, familiar names on the start lists across these World Cups. There is so much at stake for these gymnasts, not just the chance to win a World Cup medal, but of course those ranking points that will count towards Paris. In terms of the athletes who've already qualified for the Olympic spots, well, they're here in Doha quite simply because they want to remain competition fit. They want to keep their form, keep their fitness ahead of the Paris Games, which will be underway in around about 99 days' time, I believe. Well, this is going to be an incredibly closely fought final. This is among one of the tightest of the Olympic races. Some are done and dusted, but this one certainly isn't. There are 2 qualifying spots still open. 6 athletes are competing for them. Australia's James Buetti is one of them. He is still in with a chance.
And James Buetti of Australia.
Of course, these athletes will have warmed up backstage, as it were, but there is nothing that replicates the actual real competition equipment. The athletes need to get a feel for exactly what they're working with out there when it counts, when they step up to take their place in the final. There will be subtle differences. I'm sure he'd like to replicate that particular vault in the final. That looked pretty flawless to me. That was Shamu, neutral athlete. He will be second to go.
James Buetti of Australia allows gymnasts to warm up. And we are ready for the first exercise of this men's vault final.
Well, as you may have heard there from the stadium announcer, we are ready for the first of our finalists. It is Nicolucci who is taking his place.
Gymnast from Italy.
He will be the first to vault, the first to get today's competition underway. 22-year-old competing in his first World Cup this year, qualified in 5th place. His first vault is worth a 5.6 in terms of the difficulty. But the execution was very good as well.
The first vault of Nicolucci.
It was a really powerful yet elegant vault. Benovic really holding his form well in the air, keeping his body tight. His toes pointed, his legs close together. It was a really confident start from the Italian. Plenty of support, of course, in the arena. His fans were really treated to a wonderful day of competition yesterday. They are obviously excited to be here and back for more.
And we have a score 14.7 for the first vault. This is second vault from Italy, Nicolucci.
Benucci's second vault is worth a 5.2 in terms of difficulty level, slightly down on the first, but his execution score in qualifying was 9.033, so it was a really good effort from the Italian. I'm sure he'll be more than satisfied with his performance out there today. He's breathing a sigh of relief as he's greeted by his coaches. He'll make his way over to the waiting area while he waits for the judges to award their scores, but those were two very solid vaults indeed. I'm sure he'll be confident of two very high execution scores.
Not too far away from the wonderful city of Firenze of Florence, if you want. In Tuscany, the town is called Nicolucci. For Nicolucci. And we are ready for
well, a high execution score, as we suspected. It's very effective in his vaulting efforts. His score slightly down on qualification. Shamu is in with a chance of a spot at the Paris Games. He was the last gymnast to qualify, finishing his qualification in 8th place. His difficulty score for both his vaults is a 5.6. His execution for the first was high, 8.966, and you can see again he held his form well for the most part. The legs coming slightly apart as he's coming in toward the landing, step back on landing. But a harder vault than his predecessor, Benucci, who went before him.
I think we have a score, yes indeed, 14.666 for Shamov. And here is his second vault.
Well, his first vault, scoring higher than his qualification efforts. He had so much speed and power through the air. He held his nice tight tuck shape throughout. Looks incredibly relaxed, doesn't he? Walking off as if, you know, he could do that with his eyes closed. Well, he'll be keen, of course, to improve upon his qualification scores. Saw him finishing in 6th place. His first vault is up on that. His execution certainly higher. In the final, and of course that's when you want to do it. You know, often these athletes will do what's required to qualify, and then once they reach the final, that's where they really step it up, when it really counts.
And he's kind of a vault specialist, not only vault but also floor exercise. Has won quite some medals already at international events, including European Championships and World Challenge Cups, even a World Cup. Let's wait for his score. And there's the score, 14 points, 149 for Shamov.
Well, the execution is high for Shamov.
Let's go to the Dominican
European Championship silver medalist on this apparatus. Third place in qualification for the Dominican gymnast. My goodness, what an incredible effort from him. So much speed and power off the top of the vault that he almost landed further than the mat. Showing absolutely no emotion there as he high-fives his coach, but he must be pleased with that effort there. He is competing in his first World Cup of the year. He just missed out on the vault final in Doha last year, finishing 9th in qualification. He's certainly improved a lot since then, 3rd in qualification this time around. That vault is worth a 5.6 in terms of the difficulty level. He is the Pan Am vault champion, back-to-back Pan American Games golds on this apparatus. He is a vault specialist, though he has won major international medals on other apparatus, horizontal bar, pommel horse, and all around. Well, he certainly looks pleased with himself there, and so he should. 2 very well executed vaults from Reyes. Such an effective vaulter. 2019 and 2023 Pan Am champion, the first Dominican gymnast to win a gold medal at the Pan American Games, an incredible achievement. And also the first Dominican gymnast to win a gold medal at a World Cup event. That was when he won the vault title in 2017 in Croatia. So this is his apparatus. He is an out-and-out vault specialist. He also has 2 skills named after him in the code of points, the Reyes and the Reyes 2. Well, not quite enough to claim top spot. The margin between those two gymnasts is incredible. We had Shamu scoring a 14.749, Nin Reyes with a 14.733. Fourth up is James Buetti of Australia, fourth best in qualification, and he still has a chance at Paris 2024. He's fifth on the vault in Cottbus, seventh in Cairo. He would so desperately love to be on that podium. Both of his vaults are worth a 5.6 in terms of their difficulty rating. All of these athletes have very much brought their A game. This is a very high scoring final so far. A closely fought final as well as we approach the midway stage. He looks relieved, James Buetti of Australia. We've got through those two vaults safely. He's done all he can now. Now he must wait for his scores, wait to see what happens with the other athletes' scores, and then of course find out whether he has booked his spot in the Paris Olympic Games. Although these athletes know what they must do this weekend to secure those Olympic berths, the results will be officially confirmed by the International Gymnastics Federation after the event. So do keep an eye on the website for all of the official results after the conclusion of this Doha World Cup. 14.749 is the score that James Buetti must beat if he is to claim top spot at the midway stage.
First place so far, have we got any people from the Philippines here? Oh, yes, we do. That's cool.
James Buetti gets himself into third place, not quite enough to better Shamu or Nin Reyes. Big cheers have gone up around the stadium for our next athlete.
We're still warming up with the next four gymnasts.
Of course, the next four athletes will get their chance to warm up just as the four preceding them did, and we've got some big names still to come. Benovic, Chen, Carlos Yulo, and that man there, Davtian. Well, Davtian was the highest in qualification. 2 vaults worth of 5.6 in difficulty, and his execution scores were very high indeed. But it's Carlos Yulo who has the most difficult vault, his first vault, worth a 6 in terms of difficulty rating, the only gymnast to have a vault in the 6s in terms of difficulty in this final.
Finalist number 5 from Croatia, Benovic.
Croatia's Benovic. This is his second final this weekend. He competed in the floor final yesterday. It's a shame the loss of control on the landing. The timing not quite right. Shake of the head says it all. Head down, his body weight propelling him forward, wasn't able to execute the landing. Finished 7th in qualification. This first vault worth of 5.6. His next vault is slightly easier, 5.2 in terms of difficulty. Didn't manage to get his last rotation in time, which then impacted his landing. The ground coming a bit too soon for Benovic. He didn't make the vault final in Qatar or in Cairo, just missing out on the final in Cairo. He finished 9th in qualification. So this is already an improvement in his vaulting, although he won't be happy with that. You can see by his pained looking expression there. He thinks he should have done better. This is an easier vault, 5.2 for Benovic. Much better. And a wry smile on his face there. The Croatian took bronze at this event in 2022, didn't make the final last year. But he looks relaxed enough. He's not too perturbed by the bungled landing of the first. Benovic. In 5th place so far, 5th of 5, but he's looking happy and relaxed nevertheless.
Let's go to Malaysia. Here's the first vault of Chen.
Chen next up for Malaysia. 6th best in qualification. 21-year-old from Johor in southern Malaysia. This is his first World Cup final this year. Well, it's great to see him enjoying himself out there. He competed in Cottbus on the vault and on the parallel bars, didn't make either final. We saw him in Cairo too. Finished qualification in 42nd place, so to make the final in Doha really is an exceptional feat for the young Malaysian. Well, that is a very high score. If he were to vault as well as that in his second, he would be on the podium. .366 was his qualification score. He's already bettered that by a long shot. Didn't quite execute the landing, but is looking very, very happy out there indeed. Enjoying his first World Cup final experience, and plenty of support in the stadium for him as well. I'm sure he appreciates that. He'll be aware of the noise, of the atmosphere around him, and it will be an experience that he'll be keen to replicate. I'm sure we can look forward to seeing him in many more World Cup finals to come.
So what he thinks this week is extraordinary for him.
Well, a huge score of 14.733 for his first. His second vault won't be quite on that level. There on the landing, you can see landing almost face down as opposed to on his feet. A solid effort nevertheless from the Malaysian gymnast.
We wait for the score of the athletes from Malaysia.
14.133, but just look at the reaction from the athlete and the coach. They really are enjoying this experience. 14.133. That puts him 5 out of 6.
And the Philippines.
Just listen to the noise that's gone up around the arena for our next athlete, Carlos Yulo of the Philippines, second in qualification. This is the most difficult vault of all 6 finalists. He's already booked his Olympic ticket. He did so at the World Championships last October. Wow. What a vault. Carlos Yulo. Expression giving absolutely nothing away, but the crowd are showing enough emotion for both themselves and for him. Sigh of relief, he looks skywards, he's trying to keep his concentration, keep his composure. He'll be competing later in the parallel bars final as well. With his first vault in qualification, he absolutely wowed the judges, scoring 15.3, the highest out of all the competitors. He then scored a 14.633 on his second to finish behind Artur Davtian in the apparatus, where he's a former world champion. Well, surprisingly, Yulo failed to reach the finals of the floor, which is surprising given that he won a bronze on that apparatus in Baku in March. But he has redeemed himself, reaching the finals here on the vault and in the parallel bars later on. Vault number 2. Has he done enough to claim top spot? Will he knock Yahor Sharamku off the top of the podium? The crowd seem to think so. He seems to think so. But what matters is whether the judges think so. Well, there really is a party atmosphere in the arena, and look at the score. Carlos Yulo certainly has cause to celebrate. Listen to the noise of the crowd. They are delighted with what they've seen. Carlos Yulo has vaulted himself into the lead with a huge score of 15.066. But we are not finished yet. As the stadium announcer has just said, this is Davtian. Look at the score he achieved in qualification, 15.116. Well, Yulo has set the standard. It is up to Davtian now to better it. Best in qualification. 2 vaults were the 5.6 in terms of difficulty. Oh, what a landing! Davtian, what a cool customer. The 2020 Olympic bronze medalist, the 2022 world champion on this apparatus. He's also the European champion from 2019 and a 6-time European Championships medalist. So he absolutely means business here. We'll be keen to catch Yulo and knock him off his perch. He won gold in Cottbus on this apparatus. Will he be adding another gold to the collection? Gold in Cairo, gold in Cottbus. What colour will the medal be in Doha? Well, if he can replicate that score with his second vault, Davtian is taking home the gold medal. What an incredible effort from the Armenian. This has been a very high quality vault final. Certainly it seems as though the best has been saved till last. Carlos Yulo, Davtian. 2 remarkable performances from the first and second best qualifiers. Davtian scored a 15.116 in qualifying. His first vault in the final was even better than that. But what about his second?
Is the world champion of 2022.
15.166, the exact same score as he achieved in qualifying. He edges ahead of Carlos Yulo, who will claim silver. Yahoo Shamu with the bronze. Well, what a wonderful start to the competition in Doha. That is the confirmation then of the result. Artur Davtian with the gold. Carlos Yulo taking silver. Just look how tight those scores are. 15.166, 15.066. And Yahoo Shamu with the bronze, just edging out Audra's Nin Reyes by the finest of margins. For Tokyo Olympian Rasuljan Abdurakimov, who will go last, the Uzbeki athlete. He's within striking distance of the top two, so expect a good performance from the Azerbaijani athlete. He will be the last to compete. So he did finish qualification in first place. He'll want to replicate that high score in that position if he is to push ahead with his Olympic credentials. Well, as ever, the first four athletes will warm up, get a chance to get a feel for the competition equipment before the final gets underway. Suarez celebrated his birthday last week. He turned 22 last weekend. He's a youth Olympian as well as a full Olympian. He competed at the Tokyo 2020 Games as well. He's also picked up a number of international medals. Not in the parallel bar though. He's been part of Brazil's successful medal-winning team at the Pan American Games in Santiago. He picked up the all-around silver and he was part of the bronze medal-winning team there as well. He has 2 team medals from the Pan American Championships too. He's also got an all-around medal from the Pan American Championships too. And he does have 1 parallel bars medal to his name. That was from the Pan American Championships in Rio in 2021, where he picked up a bronze. But most of his success has been with his teammates or in all-around competition.
This was the last gymnast to warm up. The athlete from Chinese Taipei we have been watching, Si. And we start this men's parallel bars final with an athlete from Brazil.
Almost ready to get underway then. This is the first time we are seeing Diego Suarez of Brazil at a World Cup event this year. Pretty impressive that in his first event of the series he's reached the final. We saw him in various World Challenge Cups in 2023. But not so much in 24. He's had more of a quiet year. He was 4th best in qualification. This parallel bars routine is worth a 5.9 in terms of difficulty rating. All of the finalists have the same difficulty rating for their routines, with the exception of Yulo and Souza. Both of those athletes have a 6. And then late Gianini has a 5.7 for his difficulty. So expect the same standard of difficulty for the rest of the finalists. Well, he held his handstands incredibly well. Throughout the routine, there was just one slight issue where his leg touched one of the bars, but otherwise a very composed, impressive showing from the Brazilian.
Suarez, finalists all around at the Olympics in Japan in 2021 and at the World Championships, the last 2 World Championships in Belgium and in Great Britain. He won the bronze medal on parallel bars at the Pan American Championships 2 years ago. Seems like we almost have a score. Yes, we do.
14.433 for Suarez. He has set the standard in this parallel bars final.
And here is finalist number 2.
Milad Karimi is up next.
An athlete
The
from
24-year-old from Almaty in Kazakhstan. He picked up gold on the floor yesterday. Will he be going home with another medal? Parallel bars aren't his specialist apparatus. Most of his success has come on the floor, on the horizontal bar. He picked up a bronze at the 2023 World Championships on the floor. So it's fantastic to see him make this parallel bars final. It was all going so well up to that point. You could hear the cries of delight from the crowd, wowed by what they were seeing. Well, it was a good recovery for Karimi. Disappointing that he came off the apparatus at that midway point, because he was into a good rhythm. He was doing very well indeed. He looked to be enjoying himself. The crowd was certainly enjoying what they were seeing. Just seemed to lose his grip.
Collecting medals is one of his hobbies. Karimi, 24 years old. He's not only an excellent gymnast, he likes snowboarding and skydiving as well. The score 12.9 for Karimi of Kazakhstan.
Well, he doesn't seem too disappointed by that. Karimi was just satisfied to have reached the final in the parallel bars, given that it's not his specialist area. Italy's Gianini next. 7th in qualification. His first World Cup final this year. His first World Cup, in fact. Just lost his footing there at the end. Kicking himself. Plenty of encouragement from the sidelines throughout that routine for the 23-year-old. Born in Phnom Penh, representing Italy. It all gone well up until that dismount. You can tell he's replaying that in his head, thinking, where did that go wrong? What should I have done differently?
And there it is, the score of Gianini, 13.1.
Well, that puts Gianini into second place. Second of 3 so far. You suspect he'll be bumped off that podium place before too long. Chinese Taipei's Hung Wan-si next up. Nicknamed Sean, the 22-year-old from Chinese Taipei. He competed at the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. He is still in contention for a qualification spot for Paris. I'm sure once he's had a taste of the Olympic experience, he'd be very keen for more. Finished 7th on this event in Cottbus earlier in the year. Didn't make the final in Cairo. So I'm sure if nothing else he'd like to better that score of 7, or that ranking of 7 from Cottbus. He was part of the bronze medal winning team from last autumn's Asian Championships. Will that be enough to get him into top spot? I think it might well be at this midway point. It was a very well executed routine. He performed with real composure and real confidence. He was 3rd in qualification with 2 very good athletes ahead of him, Yulo and Razorjon Abdurakimov. 2nd and 1st place, respectively. I'm sure that Hung Wan-si will be very hopeful indeed of finishing on the podium following that performance, especially given his qualification score as well. I'm not sure if you can hear what the stadium announcer is saying, but he is talking about Hung Wan-si's last Olympic outing. He was selected initially as an alternate for the Tokyo 2020 Games, but when his teammate Yu Cha-wei tore his ACL, Hung was added to the team just days before the start of the competition. Well, it's a big score. It's higher than his qualification score. He got 14.6 in qualification. He's got 14.9 at 6.6 in the final. That's how things stand. It is Hung Wan-si of Chinese Taipei who is ahead. Suarez in 2nd place and Gianini in 3rd. You do suspect that those podium places will change when the next 4 athletes compete. We're having a short break now at the midway stage before the next four take to the apparatus. And following this warm-up, it will be Souza, another Brazilian, who will resume the competition. We'll also see Souza in action later in the horizontal bar final.
Time for part two of this parallel bars final.
Yes, indeed. Time for part two. As we just heard that from the stadium announcer, it will be Brazil. Our second Brazilian in this final, Souza, gets us back underway. The 30-year-old from Volta Redonda in the Rio de Janeiro region. Very experienced athlete. He's won numerous medals at Pan American Games, at Pan American Championships, at South American Games, at South American Championships. This is his first World Cup final this year. He competed in Cottbus and in Cairo, didn't make it into the final of either of those. He's won major medals on most apparatus, on parallel bars, on vault, horizontal bar, all around, on rings. It's just the floor where he hasn't really picked up anything, really.
Here is the exercise of Souza.
Souza, 2020 Olympian and the first Brazilian gymnast to get medals at every apparatus at World Cup level. He was 6th best in qualification. Very nicely done indeed. His face a picture of absolute concentration right to the end. He allows himself a small celebration as he leaves the field of play. Has he done enough to get himself onto the podium? You suspect that he might. Feng Wan Zi, 14.966 is the score to beat. Diogo Suarez, his compatriot, is currently in the silver medal position with a 14.433. And then there is quite a significant gap to bronze, 13.1. Gianini, you suspect that Souza will be claiming one of those podium spots.
And he is the 2019 Pan American all-around champion. We've seen him many times in the final of major events, including World Championships and even Olympics.
14.566. Souza knocks his Brazilian teammate into the bronze medal position. So currently, as things stand, Brazil are occupying the second and third spots on the podium. It will be bronze and silver going to Brazil. As things stand, Masato, the second Italian in this final. He was 8th best in qualification. High difficulty rating for his routine is 6. Masato is a former junior European champion. He's 24 years of age now. He was very successful as a junior. Well recovered on landing. That could have gone very wrong, and you can see the expression on his face there. He looks anguished. Don't know whether he landed in an awkward way and jarred his knees perhaps, or whether he's frustrated at not having executed the landing as he would have wanted. Certainly he did land with a bit of a thud. This is his first World Cup of 2024.
Just to be sure, did we have any people from the Philippines here? First, we need the score of our man from Italy, of course, Nicolucci. 24 years old. He was born in a wonderful city in Venice. Watching some replays of that exercise of Nicolucci.
Well, there will be no medal for Nicolucci Masato. Resigned look across his face as he posts a 13.833. Carlos Yulo is up next, his second final of the day. Already picked up a silver medal in the vault competition earlier on. He's qualified for this in second place as well, and I'm sure he will be confident of a second medal here today. 14.966 is the score he needs to beat if he is to get onto that podium. 14.633 was the score he posted in qualification, with one of the more difficult routines. Difficulty rating is 6. Only Nicolucci Masato and Souza have the same difficulty rating of the athletes in this final. Just listen to the cheers that have gone up around the arena. There's a huge support there for the Filipino athlete. The fans are in good voice. He certainly looks satisfied with how he performed out there on the parallel bars. Will he be adding another medal to his tally from this weekend in Doha? He certainly looks as though he thinks so. He'll make his way over to the waiting area while the judges tot up their scores. Will he have done enough to knock Hung Wan Si off the top spot? 14.966 is the score to beat. He needs higher than a 14.433 if he is to get onto the podium. .2, he is on top of the podium. Carlos Yulo is in the gold medal position. Well, that is a huge score. He has significantly improved on his score in qualification. He's added to his difficulty and his execution as well. Couldn't be faulted. But next up is the man who could knock him off the top of the podium. It's Rasuljon Abdurakhimov of Uzbekistan. He finished at the top of the qualification standings. Will we be seeing a similar tale here in the parallel bars final to the one that we saw in the vault final, where the best athletes were saved till last? Abdurakhimov will be hopeful that he can knock Carlos Yulo off the top. But he needs higher than a 15.2 if he is to do so. He took a bronze medal in this event in Cottbus earlier in the year. He finished 6th on the parallel bars in Cairo. I'm sure he would be keen for another podium finish. Well, that is a shame. He will be disappointed with that.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's try to move the wave. The wave, and we start here behind the high bar. Are we ready? 1, 2,
But the cheers are going up among the Filipino contingent, because they know that there is another gold medal heading their way. Carlos Yulo's 15.2, his position at the top of that podium is safe. Well, Abdulrakimov certainly wasn't hanging around at the end. He made a swift exit, clearly very disappointed with how his routine finished. There must be a lot of pressure on these athletes, the ones who are the last to perform. They know what they have to beat. In confirmation then of Abdurakimov's score, 13.933. Carlos Yulo is still at the top of the podium. Carlos Yulo claims another medal for the Philippines. He adds to his silver medal from earlier in the day. Big cheers from the crowd for him. Hong Yuan Ti is in second place for Chinese Taipei. And Souza takes the bronze for Brazil. Confirmation then of the results. Just look how close it was between bronze and fourth place. But it is Carlos Edriel who is safely at the top of the podium. Another medal for the Philippines. Well, that is the start list. It will be Milad Karimi who starts us off. Gymnast number 5, Tang Chia-hung. He was the horizontal bar king in Cairo and in Cottbus with his new routine that put him at the top of the podium. Well, right behind him is Tokyo 2020 Olympian Robert Toral of Lithuania. He will be determined to put in a strong showing here. 2019 world champion Arthur Mariano of Brazil and Angel Baras of Colombia are two to watch as well. That is Isaac Nunes of Mexico. Well, as ever, the gymnasts will warm up before the competition gets underway, following the same format as the other finals. We'll see the first 4 athletes competing first. Short break while the next 4 warm up, and then they will compete. There are a number of these athletes still in contention for Paris spots. This is going to be another closely contested final. Tang Chia-hung has sealed his Olympic qualification spot. But whatever happens this weekend in Doha, the results will be official. They'll be confirmed by the International Gymnastics Federation once the event has been completed.
And I think we're almost ready for the very first exercise of this men's high bar or horizontal bar final. Horizontal bar is the official name of the Baras.
Final event of this World Cup weekend in Doha. Milad Karimi has already claimed a medal this weekend. First to compete on the men's floor yesterday, the very first athlete, in fact, to compete this weekend. He represented Kazakhstan at the Tokyo Olympics. And he's also the 2023 world bronze medalist on the floor. He does have some major international medals on this apparatus though. Took gold in Chengdu in 2021 at the Summer Universiade on this event. And in 2019 in Naples he got the silver. Well, that is a shame for Milad Karimi. He was going so well, had great momentum, great movement, big swings from the Kazakhstani athlete. It's good to see him getting up unhurt though, that is the important thing. He's just gone back to get some extra chalk on his hands to avoid any further slips. Looks as though he is ready to go again. Safely caught this time. Well, a neat, untidy landing and a well put together routine. Disappointing fall from the bar. Finished second best in qualification. The difficult routine worth 6.3. He'll be disappointed to have come off. Nevertheless, he does have that gold medal to his name already this weekend, so he has got something to show for his trip to Doha.
This is his second final of the day. We saw him already on parallel bars. It must be something special for the athletes. Being in the final of the World Cup. And here is Mexico. As soon as we have the green light.
This is Mexico's Isaac Nunes. We saw him competing in Cottbus and in Cairo. He didn't make either final there. It's good to see him in the final here in Doha. He sealed his place in this final, finishing 7th in qualifying. Nunes is a parallel bar specialist as opposed to the horizontal bar. So it's great to see him in this final 8 in Doha. He's represented his country with great success. Flawless landing, a well-executed routine, very confident performance from Isaac Nunes. Interestingly, none of his major medals have come on the horizontal bar, but having looked at that performance, you'd be surprised to hear that. He's picked up Pan American Games medals on parallel bars, a gold in Lima in 2019, and in the most recent Pan American Games last November he picked up a bronze on the parallel bars.
We've seen him a couple of times in finals at World Cups, or World Challenge Cups. He's on Nunes of Mexico. His score
13.9 for Nunes. Into top spot for now. Slightly down on his qualification score of 14. Georgiou, the Cypriot, was third best in qualifying. He scored a 14.333, the 26-year-old. He is the European champion on this apparatus. And he's also the first gymnast from Cyprus to win a European title. He's also the Mediterranean horizontal bar champion. Mediterranean Games horizontal bar champion, rather. Having claimed the title in 2018 and in 2022 back-to-back, and he's a two-time Olympian. Huge dismount, sticks the landing. And he knows he's done a good job. He is in contention for Paris. Certainly helped his cause. Finished 7th in Cairo, 9th in Baku. I suspect he will be bettering those performances here in Doha.
What a happy Cypriot looks like. Georgiou, after his exercise on the horizontal bar. He was the first athlete from his country, the first gymnast, to win a medal at the European Championships in 2019. He won the bronze medal in the all-around competition. And he's also a former European champion on horizontal bar on this apparatus. He won the gold in Munich in 2022.
13.9 is the score he needs to beat if he is to get into top spot, but of course this is early days in his final. 5 more athletes still to go. 14.433. It's a good score for Georgiou. Slightly up on his qualification score of 14.333. Souza, the Brazilian we've already seen in action today. First World Cup final for him. Well, the first World Cup rather. We saw him in a final a little earlier on. In which he finished third, so he's already got a bronze medal to his name so far for his efforts on the parallel bars. And another impressive performance. Just look how much it means to him. Souza. So much emotion. Certainly pleased with how he's performed out there. We are at the midway point now of this horizontal bars final. He needs to score above 14.433 to get to the top of the podium, but of course there are still 4 more athletes to go. The advantage of going later on, of being one of the later athletes to compete, is that you know the standard that's been set, you know what you have to beat. Souza mathematically could still make the Paris Games, but there are athletes who do have stronger claims ahead of him, including Georgiou, who we've just seen competing before him, who is currently at the top of the podium. .366 gets him into second position as things stand. Souza is rightly delighted with that, but there are still 4 more athletes to go, so will he last on that podium spot? Those are the standings so far, but we have some very strong gymnasts still to compete, not least Chinese Taipei's Tang, who is flying high as this season progresses. He will be next up on the bar. The best in qualification, posting a score of 15.2. Here he goes, nicknamed the King of Cats. Well, so far, he's claimed titles in Cairo, at Cottbus, and he finished 5th in Baku. And a strong performance in the final here certainly validate his ticket to the Paris Olympic Games. Well, he won the World Challenge Cup in Osijek in Croatia earlier on in the air, scoring a 15.350 for a new routine. It included 5 different release skills. 3 Kachev elements, a Gasina, and a Yamawaki with a full turn. It was a routine that was described on social media as badass. Well, how about that? Tang says that he wants to improve his difficulty in the future. Tang Chiahung, best in qualification. Will he be best in the final? He says after 3 World Cup competitions he spoke to his coach about trying a new series. He changed his routine from earlier World Cup events. And he says he's glad that he made those amendments. Especially glad he was able to test himself and his new routine against Olympic silver medalist Tin Serbic. He hopes to compete against him at the Paris Olympics. Tang tore an Achilles tendon early in 2023, had 9 long months of rehabilitation, but returned to competition in September at the Paris World Challenge Cup, where he took gold in the horizontal bar final.
Germany earlier this year and in Cairo in Egypt.
.133. Slightly down on his score from qualification, but in qualification he was the only gymnast to score in the 15s. And so far he's the only one to score in the 15s in this final. Colombia's Angel Baras, 5th in qualifying. He's 17-year-old. He is a junior world champion. He's also the South American Youth Games champion from 2022. This is his first year at senior level competition. He made his senior debut at the Cairo World Cup in February. Qualified for the parallel and horizontal bar finals. Well, a huge dismount, a remarkable landing. He won bronze on the horizontal bar at the Cairo World Cup behind Tang Chiahung and Joe Fraser. His debut in the competition. Clearly he's enjoying competing at this level. has 3 World Cup medals to his name already, 3 bronzes, 1 on the parallel bars, 2 on the high bar, Cairo and Baku. Will he claim another? He was 5th in qualifying.
He's only 17, one of the youngest gymnastics competition here. He was born near the border with Venezuela. He won the bronze medal on the high bar at the World Cup, the first World Cup of the season in Cairo, Egypt. Joe of Chinese Taipei still in first place, followed by others Giorgiou and Souza of Brazil. There comes the score. Score of 14.5.
Well, that is a significant improvement on his qualification score, and it's enough to put him into the silver medal position. As things stand, there are still 2 more gymnasts who compete. Robert Tvoragal of Lithuania finished 6th in qualification. Took a bronze medal in Cottbus, finished 5th in Cairo. He is the 2019 European Games champion on this apparatus, and the first gymnast from Lithuania to win a gold medal at the European Championships when he took the title on this apparatus in 2020. Represented his country at the 2020 Olympics and is still mathematically in contention for Paris 2024. Very nicely done indeed. Moved confidently throughout the elements. The landing was clean, it was neat, and it was a very solid performance indeed from Robert Tvoragal.
Gymnast to win gold at the Europeans. 29 years old, born in the capital, Vilnius. Fantastic gymnast, Robert Toral.
Well, if the Lithuanian is to get himself onto the podium, he needs to better the score of 14.433. How likely is that? Well, in qualifying, he scored a 14.066. 14.7. Silver medal so far for Robert Tvoragal. He will finish on the podium. Just 1 more gymnast to compete. So he is guaranteed at least a silver.
It's now time for not only
Our final gymnast to compete this weekend. Arthur Mariano, 30-year-old from Sao Paulo State, the 2019 world champion on this apparatus. Took silver in Baku on the horizontal bar, finished 6th in the cutlass final. It's disappointing for Arthur Mariano. He finished qualification in 4th. He tried hard to adjust his body shape, to adjust his positioning. He couldn't get his hands where he needed them. I suspect that the momentum sort of dragged him off the bar there. Oh, shock for some audience members. At least the gymnast is unhurt. She looks more perturbed than he does.
I think he will start again from scratch because he has a technical problem with his grip, his leather grip. And that is not considered as a mistake.
Well, good news for Mariano. He will start his routine from scratch because of a technical issue. So that fall will not be considered a mistake. He will start again.
He was the world champion on horizontal bar in 2019. In Stuttgart, after Mariano.
Well, his hand grip broke during that routine. You can see he's working hard to make sure everything is strapped on securely, because he can't afford another such mistake. Luckily for him, he does get a second chance at this because that fall from the bar isn't a mistake. It's not classed as a mistake. It was a problem with that grip, and hopefully that's all sorted now and he will go again. Let's just take another look. Hopefully we can see what happened there. So you can just see there on the left hand. Yep, he's holding it up for the judges to see. Well, fortunately he wasn't hurt. He will go again, the 2019 world champion from Brazil. 4th in qualification with a score of 14.333. He'll need a big score if he is to make that podium. If he is to knock the Colombian off 3rd spot. Huge encouragement coming from the crowd for Mariano. They want to see him complete this routine safely, securely, and he does so. And just look at the huge smile across his face. Absolutely delighted that he got his second chance, that he was able to complete his routine, and not only complete it but do so in style. Big hugs from the Brazilian coaching staff. A congratulatory hug as well from his fellow competitors, from Tang, who currently leads the standings. Luckily, no such problems with the grip. It was that left hand where his grip broke midway through the routine. Didn't allow him to properly make contact with the bar, but luckily he was unharmed and able to continue. once he'd fixed the issue. Well, he is the last gymnast to compete across this weekend in Doha, and what a fabulous weekend of competition we've had. And what a way to end it. Arthur Mariano ending the weekend on a high. Well, he is another gymnast in contention for the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. But of course, the results will be confirmed officially by the International Gymnastics Federation after this event. So do keep an eye on their official channels on the website. Absolutely wonderful expression on his face. Delight for Arthur Mariano as he lands his routine. It's wonderful to see these gymnasts enjoying themselves so much, enjoying their sport and enjoying competing for this appreciative crowd who've made plenty of noise. 14.533 for Mariano. He gets himself onto the podium in the bronze medal position. But only just. Well, it was Chinese Taipei Tang who takes the gold with his score of 15.133 with a routine that has been described as badass. Robert Forogal of Lithuania in second. And Arthur Mariano takes the bronze for Brazil. Milad Karimi, disappointment for him. There will be no second medal of the weekend for the Kazakhstani athlete. Arthur Davtian looking delighted with himself, and rightly so. Shamu took the bronze, scoring 14.749. It was a very high scoring floor final. The vault, rather, my apologies. It was the men's vault that kicked off the day. It was the men's floor that kicked off the action yesterday. These are the vault finalists, of course. Carlos Yulo, a very popular competitor. He's had plenty of support around the arena. His score of 15.066 and him the silver. After Davtian takes the long way around so he can congratulate his fellow competitors. A real show of class from the Armenian as he takes the gold medal for his vaulting exploits.
And we invite you, ladies and gentlemen, to stand up for the national anthem of Armenia.
Well, congratulations to all three medalists who will now join Davtian on top of the podium as they have their pictures taken. Wonderful mementos of their hard work this weekend in Doha.
That will be a picture for the books. The medalists of the men's vault final. Gentlemen, congratulations. Thank you very much.
There's been great support around the arena for the Philippines. Souza of Brazil steps up to claim his bronze medal.
Second place and silver medalist from Chinese Taipei,
Hung Wan-si is the silver parallel bars medalist, taking home the medal for Chinese Taipei. And finally, Yulo is back. Silver in the vault, and now a gold on parallel bars.
And we all rise. The national anthem of the Philippines.
Yulo certainly looks touched by the crowd singing along to the Filipino national anthem. He's enjoyed wonderful support in Doha from his fans. And of course, the all-important selfie.
One more picture of these three fantastic athletes. Gentlemen, you have done a wonderful job. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Thank you for joining us here in Doha.
Just getting themselves into order and to take their places on the podium. Third place goes to Arthur Mariano of Brazil.
Second place and silver medal winner from Lithuania,
Robert Tvargal of Lithuania is the silver medalist.
And first place and gold medal winner from Chinese Taipei, Tang. And the medal will be presented to Mr. Ali Al-Fikri, President of the Qatar Gymnastics Federation and first Vice President of the FIG.
Tang of Chinese Taipei is the men's horizontal bar champion. Worthy winner of a wonderful final.
And we will now rise with the national anthem of Chinese Taipei. job. Thank you so much. Time for some pictures.
Well, what a wonderful weekend of competition it's been. 10 high-quality finals over 2 days in Doha, the final stop on the World Cup Series Tour. Of course, next stop will be Paris, the Olympic Games. Many of these athletes have been using Doha as a chance to secure their qualification for those games. And you can check all the latest official results and updates on the International Gymnastics Federation website, where scores